Executing an alpaca or joining the fight to release a political prisoner. The choice is facing Labour's leaders past and present yesterday. You probably know by now which one Keith went for. Here it comes. So, Jeremy Corbyn, the former leader of the Labour Party, was at the High Court yesterday in support of Julian Assange, who the US is still seeking extradition for, now going to the lengths of appealing its case. This country has laws that protect whistleblowers, and sure, Assange blew his whistle loud and clear when Wikileaks leaked a ton of documents relating to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And it's due to some of this that the US wants him, on allegations of conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defence secrets. Now, we protect whistleblowers from bad employers here. So why should it be different for national governments, especially for national governments, especially when the cover-ups can be over such heinous acts? We know now that the Iraq war was trumped up on false pretenses. We know George Bush wanted to finish what his father started, and we know Tony Blair was all too happy to join in. That war was a story of nepotism and lies. So often that which whistleblowers leak is of national interest. Our governments shouldn't be able to get away with this. We deserve to know what they are doing in our name, in the interest of national defence, especially when their actions led to the uprising of the likes of Al-Qaeda and everything that came to pass afterwards. Yet here we are, the guy who blew the whistle is locked up, his health deteriorating, literally dying in prison, his mental health so shattered he's on suicide risk, and on this basis, the judge had refused extradition, for which the US sickeningly now appeals, and so he remains locked up. Why aren't you arresting George Bush? How many young American soldiers died in a land they had no business being so he could look big and make his daddy proud? Why isn't Tony Blair in The Hague instead of whispering sweet nothings in Keir Starmer's ear these days and appearing on every disingenuous news outlet to spout his sage advice, which nobody asked for and nobody in their right mind should want anymore? Assange is a political prisoner. He is not a criminal one. Oh, but Keir Starmer, for all of his involvement in Assange's case as Director of Public Prosecutions, he fast-tracked Assange's extradition to Sweden on charges that Sweden later dropped, where the fear was he would be extradited to the US afterwards. He advised Swedish officials not to question Assange here in Britain, and that dragged out the man's incarceration, his purgatory, his not knowing what was happening nor how long it'd take. The full scale of how up to his neck in this mess Starmer is remains largely unknown, but it was a safe assumption that he wouldn't be showing up to defend Assange as Jeremy Corbyn did yesterday. No, Starmer was more worried about Geronimo. Whilst Julian Assange's plight once more made the news, Starmer was more concerned over the likes of Boris Johnson's father trying to save the life of an alpaca called Geronimo, who had tested positive for bovine tuberculosis. Now, any domesticated animal that tests positive for this has to be destroyed. Yes, it's a familiar story that the tests aren't brilliantly accurate, but after 3 positives, it's pretty unlikely there's a mistake being made here. And if this had been your ordinary run-of-the-mill cow, it wouldn't even be news. If this was a badger, it would have been shot, ineffective as that is in controlling this virus. It's taken 18 months, but finally, we have a policy position from Sir Keir Starmer. He is pro-killing alpacas. He is right in that there are no alternatives to this, but for this to be the biggest Starmer story of the day says a lot about the absence of substance regarding the man himself. This lack of anything meaningful was also commented on yesterday by outgoing Unite's General Secretary Len McCluskey, who warned Labour could go under with Starmer at the helm, such has been the utter failure of his leadership to produce anything meaningful for anyone, save the right wing of his own party. Meanwhile, his predecessor, still wrongfully suspended by Keir Starmer, is campaigning, amongst others, reaching out with the public to fight to save a man Starmer himself had a hand in condemning to the misery that he's now still in. Never mind Geronimo, Labour has a virus too. It's called Keir Starmer. Thankfully, it doesn't seem he's catching on with most people, so the contagion is contained. But whether it proves lethal to Labour, as McCluskey is warning, remains to be seen. Please do check out all the links provided in the description. Please support alternative media by sharing this video on your favourite social media so each of us in a small way are challenging the mainstream media narratives. And do please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for watching.